I welcome you to another campaign. This time, not in the Middle Ages, but as the Vandals, as we begin to track our steps down through Europe. We are going to try to conquer at least the western part of the Mediterranean. All of these lands here, basically all over the coast. And all of the parts of provinces that are inland as well. Our first move is with Godigisel, our faction leader. We're going to move down here, just north of the border of the Romans, and we will encamp. Same with Wizimar's army. And the next thing that we're going to do is get rid of the war dogs, because unlike in Rome 2, the war dogs are absolutely useless in anything other than a cavalry 1v1s, but normally the AI will just rush at any infantry or ranged units because it is absolutely brainless. And we will begin putting lavish tents in both of the camps, and we will begin with the defined military obligation tech beforehand getting the Roman logistics system and the regional defense force to get Germanic warband and Germanic spearmen, if I'm not wrong. I'm also going to get 3 Atlantic horsemen in each army. Looking over to our allies, the Alans, we've got Respendial's army by Olbia, and over here an army under a man called Kudan, over in the Caucasus. The Caucasus area anyway. We're immediately going to see where we can possibly get allies. We cannot get them back in our homeland of the Lugians. Apparently they are not that friendly to us. Not really a surprise, but sad to see it nonetheless. And we'll have to pass our turn, not really caring about our political situation. My first plan of action will be to construct my armies, build them up, recruit some good units to deal with the Romans, and slowly begin moving down to places on the Mediterranean. Because obviously we want to gain some of the riches that will be found in a place like the Roman Empire and their territories. We'll continue the recruitment, but we're going to make Wismar's army a bit smaller than the one of Godigisel. He's going to get an extra Alani horse unit and 2 more of these Germanic bands to deal with Roman units. Looking over at our family tree, we've got Godigisel, who's obviously our king. We've got the bastard child Genseric, and the heir to the throne, Gunderic. We've also got a wife, but unlike medieval kingdoms, we are not able to do much with a wife or a daughter. We will just not be able to do much with them because in the base game they don't have as much of a diplomatic. They don't have as much diplomatic power as before. We're also going to adopt Wizimar because well, he is older he is still a member of some sort of tribe. Discard this. This is the Hastingis, and Wizamar's leader of the Silingis, as history would have it, at least. Anyway, with our new recruits, we are going to make a rush headfirst into the Roman lands. And right there, we just had the Allens reject an offer of payment of 600 and getting a wife into their court and into their family, most probably. And that means that they've lost my support for the war with the Eastern Roman Empire and their subjects. Anyway, really quickly. Anyway, our Imperium has increased, and the important thing is we're going to be able to get more spies and more champions. And Wizamar is now in the fold. He's going to seek himself a wife, and hopefully he's going to continue his own family tree. For that, we are going to formally declare war on the Roman Empire. Now, Flavius Honoris Augustus is a half Vandal, and that might be a useful bit of information later on. But currently, we don't really care about it. We're going to first attack with the army of Wizimar, and then move to bring us a victory under Godigisel down. And actually somehow the balance bar does not change. Although I think it really should have changed. Thinking that there was just a huge army preparing to go and attack the city. We're going to sack it, and thanks to us having a specific trait which allows us to get more money from sacking territory, we have just gained more money. We're going to encamp down south, and we're going to move Godigisel's army even further, as we'll want to make the attack into Italia itself. Aquila, Verona, and Mediolanum will all hopefully be target of our war host. We're going to get even more axe band for, so Germanic band for Wizamar, and we are going to continue. Isn't it here rivalry causing more food consumption, sadly. My plan is to attack Veronium and Savaria, and keep away from the Allens for as long as possible, because we don't really want to be attacked by them. They have superior units in the early game. When we get to the mid game / late game, I'll obviously have my Vandal unique units and units like the Germanic spears and the warband, which will be useful. A worthy bride for Wizimar. I mean, chance of having illegitimate children, but he does gain more personal influence per turn, while losing some of his zeal. While it isn't really that good of an idea to have such a terrible wife, I'm going to accept it nonetheless. Just a chance of knowing what happens with the Selingi is going to be of use. And again, also, two of the women are going to increase the amount of influence our tribe has in the court, and As you can see, there was a glitch there, which stopped me from seeing what the actual result is. We've got it here now, and we're going to go with a balanced attack against the Romans. We are going to just probably move down here as well in a second. First, we are going to sack the place, and Wismar's horde will then move just slightly to the east and camp. Meanwhile, Godigisel is going to move all the way down here, and he will attack Verona and Aquileia. As you can see, I'm losing 1,000 turn. I can sort of lower it. Both one of the hordes is definitely going to have a growth. The change per turn is -11 due to taxes, but currently it's kind of a must do because otherwise we are going to absolutely flop. Anyway, I feel like I'm babbling on for a little bit too long now, but the next targets will be, obviously as I mentioned, both Verona and Aquileia, and the city of Severia just to the east of the current location of Wismar. The Western Roman Empire has a very long turn, probably meaning that they are planning an attack or doing an ancient action against my other army. Luckily it was not a military intervention, lucky us. But it was a misdirection of the army, enemies in high places. Now we're going to have to forget it. Godigisel just doesn't have enough power to stop it. The Western Roman Empire are going to war with the Gaetulians, Marcoman's ruins against the Huns, the Bostonians are going up against the Western Roman Empire, the Abdanians are going up against the Western Roman Empire, and the Varinians are going to get attacked by the Longobards or Langobards. Into the next turn now, our move will be to attack the town of Severia and just stack the city and move further south into places like Aquileia, and because possibly we could meet up our forces there. Then I'm going to move on to Sicily, just going to rampage through the Roman lands as much as I possibly can. And now we can attack Verona and hopefully retreat later. As you can see, we have a huge advantage on the balance of power scale, and it shows because we've probably decisively defeated them. And indeed we have. I'm going to now move back into the position up there. As you can see, I could get some mercenary crossbowmen when I encamp, but I am not going to do that. Now going to the situation with the Almans, they are starting to like me more. And in addition to that, I'm starting to become more powerful with every turn that goes on, because obviously I am getting richer. In addition to that, both Wizimar and Godigisel get advancements in their leadership skills. Wizimar is going to become a companion, and Genseric is going to find himself a wife, hopefully. The Bastarians and the Gepids love me. The Ostrogoths have come out of nowhere and already really like me, so there's a lot of hope for a future non-aggression pact. As you could see there, I did not get it. In return though, I did pay 200 to get a non-aggression pact with the Quadians, which apparently just makes them like me slightly more, which is a good thing in the end. The Markmans, they're starting to warm to me, and the Langobards have grown, taking the Thuringian territories and preparing for an attack on the Varangians, meaning that might be in danger if they do decide to go to war with me. But they do really, really like me. No, they hate me actually. I said hate. They should have said hate me. I was a bit confused myself about what I just said. Anyway, off that topic. Currently, we are right next to a Ostrogothic army under their king, Vivaricus, I believe, if I remember properly from the diplomacy tab. And also, he is the leader you start off with when you play the Ostrogoths, meaning that the Gothic idea of conquering Rome has clearly stuck into his mind because we can see him, and also you can be pretty sure that it is Vivaricus because it isn't that far into the campaign, and unless he's been totally crushed in the last horde, they couldn't have possibly gone and died, got their king killed of natural causes. With Wizamar's army, we're going to try to move it back. We're going to try and reel it in, you could say. There's defamation. Indolf wants to defame our king, and we're going to pay him off for this. Some of the wealth. Wizamar has secured himself office, and make some pretty huge upgrades. The Germanic Warband being a much better unit. And here we are going to just kill the Romans again. Because we are still stuck in their zone of control. We still get 600 gold from that. And now we can move down to Sicily, which has apparently already been attacked. So yeah. I don't think this is a very good idea. We're not going to be gaining that much from it. And it's been sacked again. 400 gold. And we're just going to move slightly away to regain some of the troops that we lost, and the game's just frozen here for some reason. It is always annoying when that happens, doesn't it? And there we go. Now it's finally stopped having a stroke, and apparently the Romans have an advantage over me here, which I obviously don't believe, because I've got a huge force of troops which can easily defeat anything that the Romans bring against me. And really, it's probably a settlement that gives them that advantage. I could move the Howling Wolves in next turn. I'm just checking if I could move them in a little bit faster, but it's going to be 2 turns anyway, and I think being able to defend yourself for the time being is a lot better of an idea. For some reason, the Alans are moving north to their original starting position. They have reunited their forces under Kudan and Espendial over here. Let me just find them. And for some reason, they're just moving around and raising places like Petrodava, and really don't know what they're doing currently. Seems like they are just a bit dumb, I should say. We can see Godigisel was worried, meaning he has less hostile agent success chance. That's a kind of good thing. But he's also a choleric, meaning this man is easy to annoy, anger, and enrage, meaning he's less cunning. But he's at least more zealous, meaning that while his upkeep costs for his army is larger, he in fact has more integrity, more missile damage for his own unit, which obviously isn't that useful for him in person, but he does get extra melee damage, meaning he's going to get pretty powerful pretty quick. Shockingly, this army doesn't actually have any experience at the moment. Even Godigisel himself doesn't. A surprising twist of events. Anyway, with us so close to Italia, you would expect us to be in quite a bit of trouble. And right as I say that, we immediately get an offer of peace and turn a profit from it, which is amazing, I should say. Although there can be negatives to getting a peace treaty, like the fact that now there's going to be a lot of issues in terms of if people are going to like us more, because remember the some factions are very popular. Then the army from Aquileia just disappears from the siege by boat, and that's actually a good thing because now I can just defeat the garrison. The Gepid army draws in our army for a siege attack against someone called Sextus Caecina Papus and hit the garrison at Siccia. We're not going to join him because clearly they didn't need it. Turns out that it was the Illyrians, not the Gepids as well. Or maybe it was. Wizimar has died of natural causes. And really the only person that I think could take over from him is someone who isn't a governor. Sadly, everyone here is a governor. So in turn, I'm going to get this man called Huneric in more of industry. But then I see Indolf, and I think we could probably regain his loyalty. The Bedouins and the Gepids go to war, and obviously we get peace with the Alamans, the Anteans, and the Huns declare war, and we are now trespassing. It does seem like Illyria was raised by the Gepids. Oh, good for them. And now we've basically 100% secured all the loot from Aquila. We stack it for a huge amount of gold, and now we can also get some new traditions, as well as make our king more cunning. I don't think we will ever get to the legend trait, but we can strive towards it. And then I learned that this settlement, Verona, has an extremely large zone of control, and that there's a Roman legion under someone called Flavius Uticanus, right there. And not knowing what they have, they could have loads of cavalry, they could have loads of mercenaries, they could have loads of anything. But what I am sure of is that they have lots of heavy infantry, which my warband will be amazing against, obviously. Then again, they could bring in multiple of the legions. There is one legion that I know must have escaped at some point. The Ostrogoths quickly colonizing Aquileia over there. It is not their capital. Their capital is just north at Verunum, meaning that we are not in the zone of control of the city. Technically, we're not stopped by it, at least. And that is once again a plus, because then we can reinforce the army under Godigisel, meaning we can go and defeat the Romans. But the Roman army just sits there, and another Roman force attacks us. And they've got an onager, some Feldorati spears, loads of these heavy spearmen, some javelins, and apparently no cavalry according to this. There's going to be one cavalry regiment in the garrison. We don't know what this is, and that one unit could be anything. What I do know is that I can still win this, even though it looks dire. And if the terrain favours me, I can definitely do this. And as you can see, there's a bit of a hill here, which I could use to my advantage, because the enemy would have to then march up said hill. I could also bait out their artillery barrage. There, I could try and waste all the ammo. And thus that one unit was a scout equity unit, and this huge mountain, just overlooking the entire battle, is going to be in our control. It is a shockingly one-sided situation here with such grand terrain. We can just dominate the battlefield. And to commemorate this moment, I am going to fight the battle. Obviously, we probably wouldn't have won if we auto-resolved, because the auto-resolve thinks we are going to be crushed. Which, as you might have guessed, I absolutely disagree with. Anyway, we are going to and the reinforcements are just down the mountain here, and to try and protect that side of the battlefield, I'm going to move two of my spear units that were on the flank over. And as you can see, there's the onager, and at the same time their general. I'm not going to take my chances. I'm going to wait for the onagers to disappear. They are actually preparing a shot. I don't know at what though. I just scored of them. They're right here, and I don't know what they're aiming at. Also, you know, they got a spear unit which they neglected as well. And now I can see their whole army over here. Now I could strike an early blow by rushing down a unit of axemen, and I'm actually going to rush down 2 units of axemen, if anything, or at least extend the line here. If I plan to do that. Now I'm just awaiting the arrival of these units. even so, they are still going to be fighting. They're still going to be walking uphill somewhat because of the way this is set up. That this terrain is so hilly that they'll literally be exhausted by the time they even reach my troops. And they'll be so exhausted I could probably defeat them in the one-on-one engagement. And as you can see, a very quick move down the hill. At this point, you want to just turn around, and so I'm going to try and disrupt them. Or at least give them something to shoot at, so that they don't shoot my infantry. And now they're going to be shooting at the unit closest to them. And this is the point where I will charge down. Let's see. Next unit's taking no casualties in that, I believe. Yeah, the orange are getting 0 kills. Our warband are now going downhill. This charge will be devastating. At least the warband already with 17 kills, and they're routing the orange crew. With their work done, I'm going to move them out. Obviously, and a suicidal move in Attila, but here they do actually retreat. And here we're able to charge into the Roman line, into this small bit of a battle. And here we're going to chase down the orange crew. This is obviously going to be an infantry charge uphill, which isn't going to be that effective. These troops are heavily armed as well, but their actual melee skills aren't great, so they should be easy to kill. Talking about easy to kill, these onager crews are instantly going to get destroyed. This melee combat going on with a lot of bloodshed currently. Most of the deaths though being Roman ones. That means that you've got no onager to speak of. And 2 of their units are now routing. If these 2 units do get away, at least I think their general might have died, which is a good thing, because it immediately should do something to their morale, not having some of their leadership there. We're going to try to get rid of these spearmen over here, who are still only routing, not actually shattering, which is a shame. And now the enemy is going to begin a steep climb up the hill, and just to make it more difficult for them, I'm going to position myself opposite to their formation, in a line that goes right down the hill, with them having no with them having to go up the hill. This is going to probably make them have second thoughts about fighting this battle. These infantry units are making a run for it as quickly as possible. The scout equites just being caught by my cavalry, and my infantry forced to get into the thick of it. Into the thick of the combat. And now I'm going to send my other unit down the hill to attack those two remaining units of cavalry for the enemy. Those scout equites are immediately attacked. As you can see, just down there is an enemy unit of cohorts alongside their general. And now we're going to make a attack. We're going to make a push forward against the enemy. This terrain favoring us greatly. And we're going to attack those skirmishers and get at that cavalry downhill. We're also going to move these two spearmen alongside these axemen over to the flank here. We've now got two units of safe infantry. They're going to be able to make the charge down here. Not really going that well. We're going to move our general in to try and stop this from continuing. They've got their comitatensis spearmen, which are a good upgrade over the average. Now that those spearmen are behind though, they are going to be able to make a attack into the back of the enemy. Here we are beginning to break up their main line. We are going to skirmish away a huge chunk of their force here. Their general now going into battle. And our own general, Godigisel, is still not engaged in battle. So this is really a good situation for us. We still got a nearly full health unit, and these levies are beginning to beat the comitatensis spearmen. Down here in the woods, the situation is devolving into just a massive mosh pit. We are going to charge them down. That one unit of Atlantic Cav that I completely forgot about. We are going to continue the fight. We are far better off at the moment. We can activate our ability over there. For some reason, these Palatina guards actually defeated that one unit there. The other unit being exhausted. I think it might be that which is killing my men at the moment. And here I'm going to move in my other unit. As you can see, I am doing damage to the enemy. I'm hoping to kill this general at any cost, at all cost, I should say. Here we're going to get an attack into pikes that have not formed up into their phalanx formation. We are firing arrows onto them from all sides. We still have not killed their general, but we're getting pretty close to depleting his guards enough to possibly find the last king. Although their general does die now, which is going to cause a huge morale shock all over the enemy army. The whole army begins routing, which basically means we have won the battle de facto. That is, we are not yet allowed to be sure that is truth. Our archers are not going to begin smashing arrows into the backs of the axemen. The whole enemy army routs, and now we need to chase down all of these leftover units of spearmen mainly. I'm just checking. Those levies armorati not allowed to get away. All the other units are somewhat low enough possibly to be rid of. Those cohorts not coming back, that is assured. Our few remaining units of cav will be able to hunt the enemy down. Those combatant tensor spearmen very low as well. Over somewhere here we've got the warband that is going to be skirmished at. There is chaos everywhere. These 5-man squads here, 4-man. There is not much that the Romans can do about this. They've already shattered. They are all dying. There's only one thing that they can currently do, and that is pray that we aren't going to kill all of their men. And even that might prove futile against my troops. These javelin men being the main cause of nearly all my casualties. I'm going to chase them down immediately. And this one unit already damaged pretty well. All I need to do now is get rid of all the units that are alive. The pikemen are not really being an issue to me, but it's leave none alive if anything, because we don't want anyone to escape with enough men in their unit to reform. And see bodies everywhere, mainly Roman. You can see quite a few Germanic ones there, but most of these deaths will be Roman ones at the end of the day. Those warband being crushed under the might of our archer fire, and I think that might be the end of the battle. It was long and grueling, but we were able to win in the end. As you can see, our axemen getting nearly 200 kills each. Godigisel himself getting 96 in the midst of the combat. The Roman legion that attacked us completely eliminated. We lost only one unit of Germanic levies. The Romans, on the other hand, losing their whole garrison force, losing all of these fielderatis and things like that. The pikemen are still alive. Their general here got away. I thought I might have killed him, but their general here has been killed, and all of these units along with him. This is a glorious victory, to say the least. The Romans being crushed decisively. But now another attack apparently going to occur against us. We are, if such happens, we are going to run away, and it does happen. Loads of spearmen, our army's depleted. We are not going to be able to fight that. And to our luck, the Roman army does not pursue. You'll need to get out of this situation, and I thought I might just show you me getting away from it. In fact, I ran so far, I moved all the way to the lands belonging to my ally. Not really ally, but you might as well call it that. My ally. Anyway, I thought what we would do is upgrade this to a storyteller's tent, and this is where I thought I would leave off. So will Godigisel be able to recover his highly damaged force and defeat the armies of the likes of Flavius Stachilo and Lucius Marcellus? Will our forces be able to get their vengeance against the Roman hordes? Will we be able to recover and take what we plan, the whole of the Mediterranean basin? You'll see that in the next episode.